One of the biggest misconceptions about introverts is that we hate all people, and that is totally not true. I mean, I don't hate everyone. So for today's video, I thought we'd do something a little different. Instead of making some big complicated meal, I'm just gonna ramble for a bit about what life is like as an introvert and what the rest of the world doesn't understand about us. But because this is deliciously awkward, I do need a food component, so I'm gonna make a quick and easy smoothie while I drink, so I have something to focus on and you have something else to focus on aside from looking at this awkward face for 15 minutes or however long this video is going to be. So let's get in. I'll show you my go-to smoothie recipe. So let's go make it awkward before we dive into the really awkward stuff. Into the blender, pour 1 cup of milk, half a cup of Greek yogurt, 2 heaping spoonfuls of cocoa powder, and then 1 overripe banana that's been frozen. So just break it up and then blend until smooth. All right, so here it is. And pro tip, if you drink directly from the blender, that's 1 less glass you have to clean. Perfect. So we're here to talk about what life is like as an introvert. And if you saw my very first video, I tried to do this, but I was like a deer in the headlights. I was so uncomfortable from the camera. I like to think I got slightly better at that. Still probably very awkward, but anyway, I don't recommend you watch that unless you want a good laugh. I certainly don't ever plan to watch that video ever again. But that said, let's dive in. So one of the biggest misconceptions about introverts is that we hate people. And that is not true. I know I joked in the intro that, I don't hate everyone, but no, I really don't hate many people. I'd have to think about anyone who I actually do really hate. Hate's a strong word, but that said, there's this image of introverts that we don't want to be around people, that we hate leaving our house. And I can't speak for all introverts, but that is not the case for me. I do enjoy being around other people. I do enjoy seeing friends, but there is a level of energy that has to go into any social interaction that I do. And even if it's people I've known my whole life, there's not anxiety, not stress, but people who write about introverts say how like we have like a social battery and it gets easily depleted. And so it aligns with that, where if I'm front and center around other people, it does take a lot of energy more than extroverts where it comes naturally. I'm just constantly focused on what I'm saying and criticizing myself if I say something that I didn't mean. And just a lot of energy goes into every conversation. And again, not that I don't want to be part of a conversation, but it just can deplete my battery. Like at a party or a gathering with friends, I look forward to them. And, there might be periods where I'm like just on point and I am perfectly charming and witty and funny. And then like I get to a point where it's just like that social aspect of my personality is like, well, I did my part, I'm here, I'm done, you're on your own. And then I just like can't speak. Like I just sulk in the corner for an hour until that battery charges, and then I could be back in the conversation and be charming and funny and witty. But yeah, it's just I can't sustain that for a long period of time. And I think some people see that as, okay, well, I don't want to be there, or I'm miserable. And again, it's not true. There's something going on in my brain that I just cannot be sociable. I cannot be the center of attention. I cannot maintain conversations for that long. Yeah, I know it sounds ridiculous if you're not an introvert, but my fellow introverts, I know you know what I'm talking about. Another thing that I see every now and then, there are all these memes about how introverts hate extroverts. And, that is not true at all, because if it weren't for extroverts, I wouldn't have anyone to talk to. You put 2 introverts together, it's like neither of us can make the first move to start a conversation. So it's like we both go on our own and nothing happens. So I need extroverts to engage me in conversation. And, I think everyone I've ever been friends with has been an extrovert, because they're able to take the step and engage me with conversation, whereas I might be reluctant to do that with anyone myself. All right, so the next part is that I don't hate you. And I just talked about how introverts don't hate people, but this is particularly to you, anyone who I might be interacting with. If I don't talk to you, it's not that I think I'm better than you. It's just I'm just very shy, and it's hard for me to start a conversation. I feel like even with people I do know and I'm comfortable with and I've known for years, I still kind of might struggle with the conversation and just keeping up with the conversation, and or even asking you questions, because when I have a conversation, I'm so focused on being a reactive conversation participant, where I'm just so focused on what I'm saying, and that I'm not going to try not to trip over my words, or that I'm not going to say something stupid. And so I'm kind of just so focused on answering your questions and responding to what you ask me that I don't always think to reciprocate the question. And it's not that I'm not interested, it's not that I don't care, it's just conversations can be challenging at times, and again, it takes a lot of energy. And then for people I don't know that well, it's if I'm meeting someone for the first time, and especially this happens with other guys, most guys tend to bond over things like sports, and I'm not a sports guy, never have been. Goes back to my childhood when I was like a chubby little kid and just hated playing sports because I was bad at them, so I never really got into watching them. I mean, to be honest, like I can sit through a sports game, like I don't mind. I see the entertainment value, but it's just like I don't get passionate. Like I don't care who wins. I don't have a favorite team. It makes no difference on my life who's gonna win or not. But yeah, so I can sit through sports, except baseball. I do not see the entertainment value in baseball. I think it's so boring, and that's a hill I will die on. But so going back to what I was trying to say, it can be hard for me to make conversation with other guys because usually sports is a go-to point of conversation, but for me it doesn't work. But the inverse is not true. Like I have even less in common with most women because I'm not into girly things either. So that said, if you get me, if I'm talking to you and the conversation comes to something that I'm passionate about, I can go on forever. And yeah, I mean, but it's just getting to that point where I open up, where I'm comfortable enough to open up, especially meeting someone for the first time, or even people that I've met a few times before. It can be really hard to start the conversation. But again, it's not that I hate you, it's not that I'm not interested, it's just hard for me to align and find common interests that I can talk about. Okay, yeah. I feel like I'm having a conversation in real life, and I am kind of depleting my energy. I'll try to keep it up, but yeah, it's harder than I thought it would be. Okay, so part 3, I don't hate myself. So part of being an introvert is I constantly question myself. I constantly doubt myself. I have low self-esteem. I replay every social situation I have, and why did I say this? I was so stupid. I wish I could do it over, but where am I going with this? So despite all that, I do not hate myself. I like myself to a degree. I think it's corny to say I love myself, and I'm not sure I'm there yet, but over the last couple of years, I've definitely learned to tolerate myself a lot more and just not be as self-critical and be more forgiving, because I think we all could use some more of that in this world. But slight tangent. So since I started this channel, and it's been about 6 months, it's crazy, and still having so much fun doing it. So thank you all for watching and commenting, and subscribe, please. But one of the things I've heard from people who I know in real life is that, oh, I'm so poised and confident in my videos, and that took me by surprise, because I am not poised or confident, or at least I don't see myself that way, or at least the people who have said that don't usually see me in that context. But I feel like here, it's like I'm talking to a mirror. Like I literally see myself Whereas, in the real world, in real life conversation, I'm not this polished. And, here, if I say something wrong, I could edit it out. I could reshoot if I need to. So it's, a lot different than being in person, where I just do not feel poised or confident at all. But again, I do not hate myself for not being poised or confident in real life. I've learned to accept this is how I am. There are some benefits to being an introvert. And, professionally, I'm a writer. Nothing cool or exciting, but, just business writing, marketing, PR, corporate communications, that kind of stuff. But, being an introvert helped me to do a good job at those things because, I'm so introverted, but I observe everything. I think I'm able to make connections that other people don't always see. Again, my brain is constantly going. I'm constantly thinking of ideas. So, work meetings, usually I'm quiet, but I'm sitting there and I'm observing things and taking it all in. And then after a meeting and I go do my work and what's expected of me, I think I'm usually told that I do a good job. So, I think being an introvert definitely helped me in that area. So I think I've just built up a resilience that I wouldn't have had I been more sociable and not as introverted. And I guess start to wrap things up by saying that I have a long ways to go. I'm, like I said, deeply flawed person, but I'm learning to forgive myself a lot more and just be myself. And if I think back to my childhood and everything, I never tried to go with the trends and feel like, okay, well, I have to like this band because everyone else likes them, or I have to dress this way because these are the cool clothes. And I've just been myself my whole life and didn't try to let other people reshape me to fit in. And maybe I missed out on some opportunities. Maybe if I did just not be myself, I could have had more friends, could have had a different kind of life. But no regrets with how my life has turned out. Again, kind of, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Almost done with my smoothie. But yeah, I'm just happy that myself, and here I am at 43 years old, and each day I'm learning to like myself a lot more and not be as hard on myself and just accept the fact, hey, I'm an introvert, this is how I am. So I think I'm done rambling. I know this might turn out to be a long video, so if you made it to the end, thank you. I know it was a lot to take in, but really interested to hear what other people have to say. If you're a fellow introvert, do you agree with what I'm saying, or is your experience similar to mine? How is it different? If you're an extrovert, let me know. Did this help you clear some things up about what you thought about introverts? And of course, if you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe. I'll do some more cooking in the next one, but I'm gonna enjoy the rest of my smoothie. So remember to embrace the awkward, especially if you're an introvert like me. Embrace yourself, and I will see you next time.